Hi everybody, welcome back to Daytime York Region. It is the back to school month of September, so I'm sure a lot of kids are feeling that strain already on their backs with their backpacks. Of course, today we're pleased to welcome Dr. Bahar from the Posture Clinic here in York Region. And Dr. Bahar, we're noticing that a lot of studies now are showing that kids are not using their backpacks correctly. Improper backpack use.
That's correct.
I thought, how can you use a backpack wrong? But
well,
apparently...
that's the thing. There's so many things to think about when it comes to wearing backpacks, because it's just something people just throw the books in and sling it over the shoulder. And in fact, this is Backpack Safety Month, the return back to school.
Perfect.
Yeah. So this is why we're promoting learning the right techniques on how all the things that we can do to avoid some injuries.
Okay.
Well, whenever you hear Dr. Bahar, you're always talking about FHP, forward head posture.
That's correct.
You always hear about the BlackBerry causing the forward head posture. Same true for the backpack?
Absolutely. See, when kids are going back to school, the key things that we're dealing with is anything that's going to draw our bodies forward. So improper backpack techniques is also going to be responsible for causing kids to start to slouch forward, especially if they're going to be carrying these things for hours.
I've seen that exact pose.
Okay, so let's start off with choosing the right backpack for your child. What do you have to consider before making the big purchase?
The first thing you have to look at is size, okay?
Okay.
Just like you're buying a suit, so they come in different sizes. The most common thing people aren't aware of is that a backpack has different sizes. So when you buy a new backpack, you could see the exact same design, but look at the label. They'll specify the sizing. And if this doesn't mean anything to you, looking at all the dimensions, the best thing I always recommend is having somebody with you to size it on at the time, because it shouldn't actually drape below the lower back, the lower part of the waist. So the rule number one is bigger is not better.
Fair enough.
Very good.
And you know what? I would assume if you had a bigger backpack, you'd overload it probably a little too much as well.
Right. Yeah. So when it comes time to loading, one of the rule of thumb is it's 15% of the body weight. And Rebecca here, for nice purposes of air, weighs exactly 100 pounds. That means we got 15 pounds to load would be the appropriate weight for that.
Which is a good rule of thumb. And now when it comes to actually putting the stuff in the bag, there's a proper way to do it. You don't just shove everything in and off you go.
Exactly. When you want to keep your center of gravity and your posture straight, it's important to keep the heavier items closest to the body. Just like bad leverage. The further away from the body, the more it will tend to pull you in the wrong direction. So when it comes time to loading, always take the heavier textbooks and put them at the front by the straps over here, closest to the body, and the lighter, flimsier, lighter books will be at the back. Notebooks and stuff and pens will go towards the back.
I don't miss those days at all, carrying those notebooks around. Are you noticing at your clinic that younger children are coming in with back issues?
Oh, absolutely. There's actually been studies now showing things called a rust sack syndrome. This was things that soldiers used to get when they would have so much weight compressing down on the shoulder. The nerves in the shoulder would get compressed and cause numbness down the arms and atrophy in the muscles. Well, we've actually seen kids with that too. Wow. The studies have shown the average weight in a backpack now is about 19 pounds. That would mean the average child between ages of 9 and 13 would have to weigh the equivalent of like 125 pounds, and obviously that's not the case. So we're really overloading it. And when you think back to our days, we weren't carrying around laptops and iPads and things like that. The technology, people are buying knapsacks to accommodate carrying a lot of the laptops to school as well.
Now, when it comes to fitting Rebecca and putting the backpack on, can you show us the proper way to wear it and adjust the straps so that it fit better?
Sure. So the key thing is when it's time to do the actual lifting, there's proper techniques. Always remember, first thing when you're looking, get straps that have really good padding. And you're always going to use 2 straps, because this is what's going to bear the load. So pick it up always with 2 hands.
That's a heavy backpack.
This is 15 pounds weight out exactly, so you can appreciate that.
Okay.
See, one shoulder at a time, and the key thing is once you've got it, always use the straps inside so you can pull it. And another rule of thumb is wear it high and wear it tight.
So don't let it slouch down past that lower part of the back.
And always use both straps. Now, the slinging over the one strap.
I did everything wrong
we
as a child.
wore the one strap when we were a kid, right,
I loved rocking it low because I thought I was cool with one strap.
See, now you're posture posture's not that great. So there you go. It can, I mean, if you're a kid and you're not wearing it right, later on down the road, can you have effects because of it?
Yeah, the most common things that we're seeing with children, especially if they're letting it sag too long or off to one side, tends to be in the lower back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lower back issues they're getting to. But again, if the straps aren't well supported and they're overextending it, we can get compression on the nerves and the shoulders, and that can lead to shoulder pain and neck pain. But notice the main thing is also by doing that, you always want to make sure, even with the high load, that the ear is directly over the shoulder.
Yeah.
Rebecca has great posture. Good girl.
Now.
I've also seen kids, I don't know if you have, but they carry the little mini suitcases with rollers.
This is another alternative, yes, because you're not having to carry the load this way. And it's just like our luggage now and stuff like that. If that's convenient, perfect.
Exactly.
I'm just curious, because obviously there's a lot of proper ways to wear the backpack. What about distance? I mean, if kids are walking a little too far, is it going to add regardless?
Yeah, exactly. Like as I said, there's the same principle as if there's too much things that you have to carry. Obviously, the longer the time and the greater the load, it's the cumulative effect that you have to concern yourself with. So a rule of thumb is take what you absolutely need.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are some of the things parents can do to prevent or even detect that their kids might be taking on too much?
Okay, the first thing you want to look for is always study their profiles. If you notice them when they're walking and they tend to be leaning forward, just demonstrating all hunching forward like that, then you know that, okay, the bag's probably too heavy and they're having to compensate that way. And I always say, just hand over hand is the easiest, quickest test you can do. Just look at the center of the ear, look at the center of the shoulder, and if your hands are more than 1 inch, 2 inches apart, we know that there's already a postural indication that there's stress on the body.
Holy smokes. Okay, and these are easy tips, though, to tell if there is a problem. If there is a problem, then they can come to you.
Yes.
What can you do at that point?
Well, what we have this month that we're featuring is our software program that actually do the whole analysis for you. They can come on in, the child will be weighed, the backpack will be weighed, percentages will be determined. They can determine exactly what has to stay and what has to go.
I love this.
You know what the good news is here? Is that if you're watching and you're a kid, and you don't necessarily want to do too much homework, you can say, I was just carrying too much. Dr. Guy Bahar said I got to only take what's important.
Jeff Moore way of thinking.
And you're saving your back.
There you go.
Right?
So Dr. Bahar, where are you located here?
We're in Richmond Hill, just at the 16th and Bayview. And as I said, this is our big month of. So all parents are welcome to bring their children in, and we can have everyone tested.
Have an assessment. That's the first way to find out what's going on, and then you can take steps to prevent it in the future. Please visit the website, postureclinic.ca. We'll be right back with more on the show. Don't go anywhere.
Tweet pick. Ready?